Hey everyone, this is Justin, and this is another Destiny video. This is the Kingsfall 390 feature raid. This was ran last week, of course, this week being the week of Wrath of Machine. So I'm a little behind on my videos, but I'm should be catching up today. This video is actually split between my Warlock and my Hunter. I originally had this fully recorded with my Warlock, but I ran into some recording issues towards the end, so it's going to be my Warlock all the way up to the War Priest, and then my Hunter is going to be taken over from there. Now, Kingsfall, which was the raid that came out of the Taken King back in 2015. That was the... Whew, we went through a long period of not having a new raid since Crota's End, which was the December 2014. So this was very, very anticipated. There was a lot of hype going around this raid, especially since it was being worked on by the same people who did the Vault of Glass. So coming back to this raid, I thought this raid was really cool. It's probably one of the most technical of the four. I think it goes, if somebody has never raided before, I think it is the most technical, even compared to like Vault of Glass. There's just a lot of stuff going on in this raid, and it's a very long one too. It is the longest of the four, so there's a lot of coordination, call outs. It's definitely complicated. So now I was looking forward to this because I was hoping they were going to shorten some of the encounters. I know they shortened some of Vault of Glass. I mentioned that in that video, where the Oracles and the Conflux encounters were shortened. I was hoping that would be the case for Kingsfall, but they didn't touch it at all. So I was kind of disappointed with that. I felt for at least some of the earlier sections they could have shortened so you can get to the actual bosses a lot faster. Because it feels like half this raid is just getting to the first boss. So that's how kind of slow this stuff is. So for this particular encounter, there is a relic on the left and the right where one person from each side needs to grab it and then dunk it, which dunking is a big theme in this raid, dunk it into one statue, which is a total of 6. So essentially you have 2 players collecting 6 relics each, and they have to dunk it on the 6 statues before the actual portal will open to the rest of the raid. Now, strategy-wise, it depends on the team. You can do 2 teams of 3, so 3 people go left, 3 people go on right, and you just have a delicate relic runner. Or you can do 3 teams of 2, so 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and have 2 people work on the center. When the relic is picked up, as you can see, there's these barriers that appear, so you have to shoot through them. So maybe having 2 people in the center might be helpful. So if one person is getting stuck dealing with ads, the people in the center can still open the way for the relic runner to get to the center and dunk it on the statue. Now, I was hoping this section would have been shortened. I think they could have easily just done 3 relics each and have the one person on the left dunk on the left and the person on the right dunk on the right, so you can knock out all 6 statues in just 3 runs, but they didn't do that. Not sure why. It would have been much appreciated, but it is what it is. So, but for right now, my loadout, I am using the Steel Medulla Legendary, because Wrath Machine feature raid hasn't started yet, so I don't have that Void one. I also am using I think I have Event Horizon equipped right now, along with Hunger of Crota. No, Black Spindle, I'm sorry, Black Spindle I have equipped. And then I think I have Hunger of Crota in my heavy slot, so... I was thinking, I don't normally equip Black Spindle until the War Priest, but I was figuring that it would be useful for the totem section, but I think I just go back to Ex Machina on later runs. So on the legendary, really, your primary really doesn't matter. I use Steel Medulla. I actually went back to my Tread Upon Stars that has crowd control and outlaw on it with explosive rounds. That's been extremely helpful for staggering enemies. It's not a high impact, which I would prefer on a scout rifle, but I'm still killing stuff awfully fast, so it's not that big of a deal. So as you can see, I am helping on the left, so me and Elmo are controlling the left while we have 2 people working the center, and then there's 2 other people on the right. So once again, these are not like bench members, so these are people I normally raid with, so I am again just doing the commentary over the game and did not record the commentary through our party chat, which we're also playing with 2 randoms, I believe, on this part, so it was for the best. Now, King's Fall is considered like a Taken raid, but as you see through this video, Taken, it's almost, I don't know what the ratio is, but there's a lot of Hive in this, so, which, you know, Hive and Oryx, that's not a big stretch. They're all part of the same species. But it's like Taken's all over this encounter, but then they kind of disappear until like the end of War Priest, and then the end of Golgoroth, and then they are throughout the Daughters and the Oryx fights, so. Yeah, drink of water here. I did a lot of cutting down on this video because it is a long raid, and we don't like one shot everything. So instead of me doing like a normal, oh, we failed here and here's the actual run, I think a lot of this now is just the actual run. And this video is still like over an hour, so it's long. You can definitely beat it in under an hour, but it's just I didn't have like everybody. No, I mean I didn't have like a full team of people that I normally play with, and when I say normally play, it's just people I play with. We were not running the raid together every week, so that synergy has to like build up before we can actually like knock out a lot of this stuff. So don't really have like a dedicated raid team. I just have like a whole group of people that I can raid with, and sometimes we're on point and sometimes we're not. I think this is the last one. Yeah, it's the last one. So once the 2 people dunk on the last statue, you now race for the portal, and then you go on to the rest of the raid, which for a reason the portal kept shooting us back out the way we came, so. And then there's the first chest with the Knuckles of Ao, which I think I used them on Oryx. Or no, I used it on Golgoroth because going into this, we didn't know what the loot pool changes were, and during the, for regular King's Fall, Golgoroth dropped like all the armor pieces except for the class item and the helmet. So I figured using Knuckles of Ao on Golgoroth would have been the best idea. Unfortunately, I just got 2 legendary versions of Zali's Bane, so it didn't work out so well. So this is the first jumping puzzle, and I do mean, and puzzle is I'm using loosely because obviously that wasn't complicated. It was just jumping from 2 swinging lamps, between swinging lamps. So it's just timing's the key. This one's more of a puzzle though, is the Hive tomb ship puzzle. You have to jump from ship to ship, and there's specific ones you have to jump on. They do try to fool you with certain ones, so which kind of screwed up on with my Warlock. I'm usually pretty good at this jump puzzle, but it's been so long and I kind of underestimated the jump, so it's gonna actually cut to my actual, there we go. It's gonna cut to my actual run through the puzzle. Now this is another section, they can't really shorten, but I was hoping at least the checkpoint part would be there. I don't see like the reason to make this all in one shot, because if you screw up the jump, you have to start the puzzle like all over again. So I don't see why they just kept out that checkpoint to make it easier on everybody, because I mean supposedly it's the director's cut version of King's Fall, but they didn't change anything, so that was one thing I was hoping would just come back just to make things easier. Oh, I think I made that. Alright. So what you're seeing is the actual path of the tomb ship, so which for like the longest time I could never remember like the first half of this puzzle. Like the second half, which to me seems more complicated, but for a reason I could never remember the first part. Now I am rocking some Crota gear, so I figured it was appropriate for fighting Crota's dad. My ear's still popping from earlier. So yeah, this was actually the jump that I missed. I kind of like let go of my glide a little too early, and I kind of just hit the side of it instead of landing on top. Never again, though. I know Warlocks tend to have a problem jumping on this one. I tend to just jump up and then kind of just glide on top of it, so. And then the rest of this is pretty straightforward. God, sorry, it's my ear. I don't know why it's popping. But I don't really care about that. And then there should be one more tomb ship, and then this will be done. So this part, there's 2 plates that people need to hold so you can bring down the barrier for the other tomb ship to cross the chasm. There's also a hidden chest up to the left, which you're going to see. So basically 2 people need to get the tomb ship moving. Or no, the tomb ship moves by itself, but 2 people have to stand on the plate. To get the door open, I believe, for the exotic chest. And then there's 2 plates on the opposite side, so once 2 people stand on that plate, the door will be open for the other players that were left behind. So while this is going, because it takes a sweet time, I think I actually took the week off for Taken King, so I spent all week playing all the content with my Warlock. That was also the time where there was like that exploit for 3 coins, so I think it's Draxus on one of the Venus missions. I don't remember. I think Winter's Run. You actually could pop a 3 coin, kill Draxus and yourself, and then rinse and repeat that and get like a shit ton of exotic engrams. And then this was, well, actually this whole DLC, now I think about it, there was a lot of changes to it. Because this is where they didn't bring anything up. So all your raid gear, all your like other weapons and exotics. Oh, balls to that. I didn't realize that I fall there too. But yeah, none of your gear from Vanilla Destiny through House of Wolves would carry over. So you had to start completely from scratch, which was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. So basically that whole week was a race to get to the light level, which I think at that week the highest was 310. I think that was the max light level, because King's Fall basically opened it up to 310. And this was the first time that actually ran the raid relatively close to when it first went live. I think I started the raid that Saturday. I think it went live the Friday of when the Taken King came out, and I think I started doing the raid on Saturday. It actually took us a few days to get through it. We split it up into sections. So Saturday we played to a certain point, and then Sunday we played into a certain point, I think. And then Monday we were doing Oryx before the reset, and then my internet just shut off. So thank you, Comcast, for that. So my internet crapped out, and I was unable to beat Oryx that first week, but then the following day on Tuesday, I was able to run the raid again and get the drops that I was sorely missing. But just like the first year, I didn't get to run the raid too often. Which, actually, let me put a pause on that and talk about this encounter. This is the Totems encounter. Basically, you have 2 teams of 3. You had 2 people start in the center, and then 2 people go left, and you got 2 people going right. The object is, you probably already saw, there is a relic in the hallway leading to the left or right totem, which gives the person who picked it up an aura. And there's like a countdown clock, which now it's switched over to me. So once the countdown is over, the relic will switch to the other person that's on the plate. And then the person that had the relic is now going to switch with the person in the center, and then he is going to stand on the pad in the center, which will charge up the door so it can open. And every time the brand is switched over, there is a Boomer Knight that spawns on the balcony, which you just saw. And there's also a wizard that spawns in the center, either on the left or the right, which you will see when I get up there. So yeah, that's charging the plate, and then the wizard pops out. I think it was on the left. Yeah, it's on the left. And this is another encounter that I felt like they could have shortened. I mean, there's really no changes they could have made to it, but maybe made the charge the door faster with each pass, maybe. I don't know, I just feel like the beginning part of King's Fall is unnecessarily long, and you really don't get any rewards until, like, the first boss fight, which is after this. I think it's unnecessarily long for that, but, I mean, it was cool when it first came out. But it was the only raid for, like, a whole year until Wrath of the Machine, so it does get old. And thankfully, I had enough a break from it to not make it so, like, I was kind of excited to get back in there. Because as I was saying, I didn't run the raid that often. I think I got my Warlock up to, like, 301, 302, something like that. And then I didn't run the raid anymore. Like, my friends would run the raid. Like, I would be at work and my friends would have me run the raid, and the timing was always off, and it was just a big pain in the ass. I don't think I ever even got my Oryx hard mode kill until, like, that spring. So I think my Warlock's set at like 310 because I did run most of the hard mode raid when it came out. But I never got my Oryx kill until, like, the following spring. Actually, I didn't even do the challenge modes until, like, the summer when it was in the record book, so yeah, even at this time, I was still struggling with my dislike of Destiny, because you gotta have people to play this in-game content, especially, well, preferably people you know. It's just so much easier with people you know. Like, it's definitely doable with, like, LFG and stuff like that. But, I mean, you really don't know who you're going to get until you actually can get in the game and talk to them, so for the most part, the Destiny community is pretty awesome. But still you'll run into some pretty toxic people. So I think at this point I actually switched to Fatebringer, and I think I have my Ex Machina, and I think I have my... I think I still have Hunger Code out. Because I think Ex Machina... Because I'm not going to be constantly, like, critting one thing with Black Hammer, so I don't know what I was thinking for having Black Hammer out that early. So I have an Ex Machina, so I can constantly... So I can... Well, I constantly put like 4 bullets in the magazine once I run out, so... And then I also wanted to use my exotic Fatebringer. Felt like it would be good for the ads for this point. This should be the actual run where we finish this fight, which... Like I said, it's long. Like, I really wish they shortened some of this stuff, but whatever, you're probably going to see more and more people looking for War Priest checkpoints the next time around. But yeah, War Priest is like, well, I think you have a chance to get a Ghost Shell from the Totems checkpoint, which is this one, and then, but War Priest is when armor and weapons start dropping, so you're probably going to see that. I'm probably going to be looking for that more often next time. But yeah, like the first 2 years of Destiny was kind of a struggle for me when it comes to playing the raids and getting good loot and all that fun stuff. It wasn't until Wrath Machine Year 3 where we kind of hit the ground running. The people that I raid with at the time were still playing, and then I met a whole bunch of new people through them. So now I have like a pretty decent sized list of people I can raid with or do activities with. So it's gotten a lot better since then. Unfortunately, it has not gotten any better when it comes to actual like digital bench people playing. So, which is a shame because I really would like to raid with all those guys. Like they all play Destiny when they have the time, but it seems like when people get up to a certain light level, I have to try and get other people to get there. And while I'm trying to get other people to get there, those original people are now no longer will stop playing Destiny for whatever reason. So I just can't win when it comes to that stuff. So I think the only raid we ran together with, I think I did Crota, but that one was like Exploit City. I think we did do a full King's Fall raid run though. We did it on normal because they never... I don't think they ever did it. No, we didn't do it on hard, so I think it was normal. I don't remember the knights being there for orcs. So, but yeah, this is basically just a long drawn out 6-man tag. So, as long as you're doing your call outs when it comes to switching, or when the Boomer Knight shows up, or your Wizard, this section is pretty easy. Oh, and also any like Hollowed Knights that spawn and run down the left or right side, you need to call those out too. That was great, Rocket. God, my ear, Jesus. And I hope I'm not getting sick. I'm just really not looking forward to that. Got podcast next week, and I tend to be sick for a few days and then kind of have residual side effects for like a week or two after. So I hope that's not the case. Alright, so yeah, counter's finally done. Thank God. So at this point things speed up a lot. So it's basically just boss fight, maze, boss fight, 2 jump puzzles, boss fight. So at this point, my hunter is going to take over due to recording issues that I mentioned before. So there we go. It should be my hunter now. And at this point, I stuck to actual runs that we completed as opposed to us dying. So the first boss of the raid, Warpath. That's a rocket launcher. The War Priest, which is also your first of 3 challenges in this raid. So the way the War Priest works, again, we're split up into 3 teams of 2. There are 3 sync plates. You see the one on the right, there's one in the center, and there's one on the left. And there's, as you also can see, there's those obelisk or totems, ruins, wherever you want to call them, are in front of like each plate. So the beginning part of this fight, we're just dealing with ads. And then at a certain point, a Hive Major Knight will spawn on the right, left, and the center. Once all 3 of those dead, that's when the glyph sequence, well, they're called glyphs. There we go, they're glyphs. The glyph sequence will begin. Behind the glyphs, there's actually a light that will pop up. The order that the light pops up on the 3 glyphs is the order that people need to stand on the plate. So it could be left, right, middle, middle, left, right, right, middle, left. It can be like any of those combinations. The last person to jump on the plate will get an aura, which will boost damage to the... the War Priest will no longer be immune, and you can do damage to the War Priest. Now, there is a catch to it. The person with that buff has a countdown timer. The countdown timer goes all the way to 0, that person dies, and then that buff passes on to another person. Now, what you're supposed to do is, before the timer runs out, you need to kill an acolyte, and that will reset the timer, I think, up to like 5 times. So, as long as the aura person is doing what he's supposed to be doing, you should have a long DPS section against the War Priest. Once that buff is completely gone, there you go, there's the aura right there. The War Priest will try to wipe out the team. So long as you're standing behind one of the glyphs, you should be fine. So right here we are DPSing. And then the aura person is just trying to kill an ad before his timer runs out. Now when the War Priest tries to wipe you, which will happen shortly, it will actually get rid of the glyph that you are hiding behind. So that means for the next damage phase, you got to be in front of, you have to be behind another glyph, so you're not all wiping when he tries to. There you go. Summons the Oculus. And at this point, I pop heavy because you want that sleeper simulant. Which, by the way, I switched to sleeper simulant as my heavy because sleeper simulant has quickly risen in the ranks of like godly in these raids. Except for like Crota. It doesn't really do anything in Crota. So for the actual challenge part, a person can have the aura twice. So the best method to do it, because you should be able to kill the War Priest in either 2, maybe 3 phases, is just have 3 different people get the aura and not die. Because once people start dying, the aura is randomly moves to another player, and at that point things start getting confusing, and a person may end up getting it twice from later rounds. So you definitely want to not have anyone die with the aura, so you can make that makes the challenge mode that much easier. So at this point, the glyph on the right side is gone. So for the next damage phase, we're going to be collapsing to the center, which should be coming up soon. So our knight is down. Glyph sequence has started. Someone was on the plate when he wasn't supposed to, so I think it's like right first. I think it was left and middle. Oh no, it was middle then left. So we all collapse in the center and more DPS. Which War Priest is like less than half, so we should be able to kill him in this run. He threw that grenade. So right here, you can see that there's a lot of coordination. There's got to be a lot of call-outs. Like, this is a very technical raid. And I got my Doom of Kelkus. I also think I get the raid boots here. Yeah, I got the raid boots. So War Priest actually drops the gauntlets and the raid boots now, and then Golgoroth is the chest piece. So if you're looking for armor, those are the bosses you want. And then I think Daughters can still drop the class item, but I think also Oryx can drop the class item, and then the helmet only drops from Oryx. So now I am switching to my Golgoroth loadout, which Black Hammer is still the king of putting in that DPS on Golgoroth. So now we head into the portal to the Golgoroth maze, which is a bunch of dark hallways with fallen pillars and holes that you can fall through. However, there is a way to skip it. If you actually kill yourself on top of the pillar that I just stand right there, you actually get teleported to the door. But I don't... Did I try doing it in this one? I may have not done it in this one. So the way to go, the way through the maze is right, left, left, right. So it's still pretty easy.
Guardian down.
But if you have the rockets, you can just kill yourself and then be done with it. Which I thought I did it on my hunter that I tried to kill myself. Maybe it was my warlock. Maybe my warlock I tried and it... Like, I just popped a heavy before the end of the War Priest, so when I switched to my rocket launcher to try to kill myself, I had no ammo and I couldn't pop a heavy, so I ended up had to run the maze anyway. Now there is a chest in this maze. It involves people standing on little like plates throughout the maze, and when they jump on them, when they stand on them in a certain order, it's supposed to open a door, and then the chest opens. And yeah, I never do it. I think I did it once, and it's not worth it. Maybe for the Molten Shards back when the Taken King was new and a thing, but now I don't think anything drops from it. I mean, I think there's a chance to drop exotics, maybe artifacts, but whatever. See, we're like a half hour in, and we still have technically two jump puzzles and 3 bosses left. So yeah, this raid is long. I probably should talk about subclasses a little bit. Warlocks should probably be on Sunsinger throughout the raid. I think the only time that it might be worth switching to like a Stormcaller is Golgoroth to deal with the ads in the pit area, which you'll see shortly. Other than that, usually stick to Sunsinger because there's, for pretty much all the boss encounters, if you're down to like 5 people, it's a lot of people just, like a lot of teams just wipe. So having a Sunsinger Warlock is probably your best bet. Titans should be Defender, of course, and it should be on Weapons of Light on pretty much, I think, all encounters. War Priest weapon, Golgoroth weapon, yeah. So it should be on Weapons Light to the entire raid. And then Hunters should be on Night Stalkers, so you can use their tethers for extra DPS. So you're around Golgoroth, you shoot the orb, and then this big old ugly ogre spawns in the center. Now the way this works is that it looks like he has a crit spot on his back, but it's actually a ruse. When you shoot the crit spot, he will actually focus his rage on the player who shot it and start shooting like Axion bolts with a little bit of poison at that player for a certain amount of time. What happens is that his chest will open, and that will be the weak spot you go for, but that's still not enough. The orbs that spawn on the ceiling, you want to shoot those down, and you actually stand in the pool that they leave behind, and then shoot Golgoroth for like a huge damage boost. And then once the gaze is over, the encounter will start like the next phase. Now I know Bungie wants you to do 6 orbs, so they want people to be jumping in and out, grabbing the gaze, like passing the gaze from player to player, shooting down the orb, staying in that pool, but it is a lot of coordination, a lot of work. So most teams just do like the 1 orb strategy, which you basically just shoot the one person gets the gaze, shoot down the orb, someone drops a weapons bubble tether, and then you just sit there and just use Black Hammer to your heart's content until the gaze runs out, and then everybody everybody runs out of the pit and basically starts it over. Now for the challenge mode though, every player has to have the gaze per phase. So again, Bungie is trying to get people to do all 6 orbs, but you really don't have to still. You can just do 1 orb strategy and then just bounce the gaze back and forth. So what we normally do is we'll pick a number. So the first person, of course, the first person gets the gaze. The second person, basically when there's like 10 seconds left, they'll jump out and get the gaze. And then at that point, once the DPS phase is over, everyone else can just pass the back and forth. So basically we have odd numbers on the left, so 1, 3, and 5, and then even numbers on the right, so 2, 4, and 6. So you can easily just bounce back and forth. So the only 2 players that are dealing with the full rage of Golgoroth is technically the first person until the second person takes over, and then the last person has to deal with the full force of rage. So as you can see, that's exactly what we did. So we passed it up to all 6 people, and now we're back to the next, well, we restarted the phase over, so more ads will spawn. And then we drop the orb and do everything all over again. Now once he hits a certain damage threshold, he will summon Taken. And Taken will just keep spawning, so at that point you want to make sure your supers are up. You might want to save a tether for dealing with the Taken ads, or if you have a warlock that's doing Stormcaller, they can deal with the ads, so whatever method you want to do. But you definitely want to save a super to deal with all those Taken ads in the center. Now you probably saw there's a totem behind Golgoroth that has like 1 symbol like lit up. Every time someone dies, another symbol lights up, and I think there's a total of 5 deaths, maybe 6. Everybody just dies anyway, so. Now when you're in the pool of Reclaim Light, which, sweet, I was going to say, like, random person gets chosen for Unstable Light, so that's that flashing green. And when the timer runs out, you will cause an explosion, and any Guardians players that are around you will also explode and die. So you won't die, but you will kill your teammates if you're close to them. Now, like, when you have that, call it out, say your name, tell where you're running so people can go away from you. What I learned, and I think my 3rd run it's actually if you have that debuff, just run at Golgoroth and stand right in front of him. Not only will you be safe from your other players, but I think you also do a little bit of damage to Golgoroth with that explosion, so it's better just to run at Golgoroth and just stand underneath of him until the explosion occurs. So far we've done 2 damage phases. He's like less than half. Taken are not quite out yet, but in between phases, Cursed Thrall tends to like fill up the pit area, so make sure you're clearing that out as well. And I've seen people do the 6 orb strategy, and it's pretty awesome when you see it done correctly. And like potentially, well, not even potentially, you'll do more damage per phase by doing the 6 orb strat than you would just doing the 1 orb strat. My only issue is like with the challenge mode, you basically have to have people jump in and out of the pit. You have to basically set up where Golgoroth is standing in front of the puddle left by the orb, so you basically need to plan that out too. So you also have to plan out which orbs you need to shoot in which order. So, and you're also dealing with the constant lack of ammo in that pit area. So it's definitely hard to do, but if you ever seen it, I know Datto does that strategy, and when the videos of that it's pretty incredible that his team is able to do that. But I think for most people, the 1 orb strat is definitely preferred and easier to deal with, especially when you're playing with randoms. I think the 6 orb strat is just a little bit too complicated if you have like a fire team full of like people you don't know or don't normally play with. So now we're here at the Taken phase. He's almost dead. And now we're passing the gaze back and forth. Which, like I said, all 6 people have to have the gaze per damage phase. Oh, Ogre's Venom. Almost killed me. So grab that ammo. So yeah, as you can see, like the boss fights are pretty. Like once you know how to do them, they're not complicated. But like explaining it to somebody that's never done this before, it's just kind of like, huh? What do I gotta do? It's like I think it's the most complicated of the raids, easily. I think the hardest part of like Vault Glass is just to learn Mars is on the left and Venus is on the right. Even to this day, people don't understand where those 2 spots are. So since Taken just keep spawning, we can basically just start up whenever, so it's best to wait until you get your supers done so people can clear Taken if need be, and then the rest of people can just DPS, and then bam, Golgoroth's dead. Check out the fusion rifle, and then the challenge mode kicks in. There you go. So Zali's Bane and an ornament. At this point, I am switching my loadout for the Daughters fight. So we have a little bit of a maze right here, nothing too crazy. It's basically just making a lot of right turns. I just feel like it's a lot of right turns. And then we move on to the next jump puzzle, which they're actually like pistons that shoot out walls like you see right there. A lot of people just call them hive dicks, but we'll try to keep this a little bit professional for this one. So if you're standing in front of them when it shoots out, you're obviously going to get like rocketed to the other side and then die. It also doesn't help that the wall is actually on like a what is that, 45-degree angle, and then the actual platform is actually a slope. So if you jump and land too close to the wall, you actually will slide right off. So, but we actually we'll skip like a portion of this puzzle because there is actually an exotic chest off to the right there. Which is pretty easy to get. Get that chest. There we go. Then it's just a matter of just jumping across the chasm to the rest of the jump puzzle. Which I am so used to my Warlock jump that I still struggle with a Hunter and a Titan jump. It's like so embedded into my brain that it's just... Oh god, did I die? I might have died. Yeah, oh no. Keep fighting back. And yeah. I think both times I ran this with my Hunter, my Titan, that I fucked up. And with my recent Wrath of the Machine run with my Titan, I also screwed up some of the jumping puzzles. I don't know, for a reason they still haven't just like clicked in my head. So I guess that's partly due for me having like 3 Warlocks for almost like the whole first year. At this point I completely forget where I'm supposed to jump. Which is funny because I just did this shortly with the Warlock. I think that was the platform right there. I just wasn't seeing it. And then you can skip like the last 2 platforms just by jumping from there, so... So at this point I switched to my Touch of Malice because it is perfect for Daughters. It's like the only weapons you need for the Daughters boss fight. Still have Ex Machina, so the Wrath of the Machine sniper rifle. And I think I did Corrective Measure, which is the heavy machine gun from the Vault of Glass, which any good heavy machine gun is fine for this, so I prefer that than using it for the Daughters. And my ear is still fucking popping. It's bottom. Every time I talk, ears start popping. It's annoying. So this is kind of a jump puzzle, but it's basically you just jumping up this tower, and then that's basically it. Which I think from my reset video of that week, I got that Touch of Malice ornament, so it's pretty sweet that I was able to run with that during the raid. Everybody was saying how it looked like grandma's blanket. Like, your gun looks cold, dear. So now we go on to Daughters, which I just edit right here, so this is where things get a little bit more complicated, but thankfully the Daughters, that fight kind of transitions into the Oryx fight, so the stuff you learn from this one, you use in Oryx. So at this point, a random person is chosen as Taken, or Torn Between Dimensions. I don't think I get that during this run. So as you see, there's a relic above a platform. There's 4 platforms around the room. The goal is the person that's torn between dimensions have to jump on platforms to get that relic. Now the way to make those platforms appear, people have to jump on the platforms that you see I'm standing on now to create those Taken platforms, so the relic runner can grab the relic and we can do damage to the boss. So the way it works is just have people dedicated to certain platforms. So it goes counterclockwise around. So you're going to start on the first platform that is counterclockwise to the relic. And that will be 1, and then the next one will be 2, and then the next one counterclockwise will be 3. So you have those people picked out, dedicated, and those are the same people you can run for Oryx. You don't have to do all 4 because the relic you don't have to go all the way. The relic runner doesn't have to go all the way around, so just having 3 people is enough, and then just have 2 people in the middle just dealing with ads. Now, once you pick up the relic, if you're the relic runner, you call it out, and then you try to jump for the platform to the daughter that's not singing. And then at that point, we all jump onto that one platform in DPS. We use Touch of Malice because Touch of Malice completely shreds daughters, so... So this is the second wave of this, so when you kill one of the daughters, you have to kill the second daughter, like, that next time, so... Oh, looks like we failed this. I thought I edited this out. Well, rip. But that's what it looks like when you get torn between dimensions, so... When I was skimming through this, I guess I missed this one, but this should be the run. Which is probably good because I kind of rushed through that explanation, but I mean pretty much on par. When the relic holder dunks on the daughter that's not singing, we jump to the platform that everybody's on right now, on the right side. Oop, I get torn dimensions. Yay, there we go. And basically, once he dunks it, he gets in like an aura that protects the entire team from damage. So that's when Touch of Malice becomes, really beneficial. Because Touch of Malice does extra damage on the last bullet, and as long as you keep holding the trigger, you'll keep firing. Like you don't have to reload. That the cost is that you'll lose health. So having an aura where you don't lose health and then use Touch of Malice, you can basically melt the daughter in no time. So there I go, I am jumping from the platform and then dunking on the daughter. And then I jump down to my teammates and then we can DPS. So yeah, it's always going to be a counterclockwise. The first plate is always the one counterclockwise from the relic. And you only need to do 3, so... After the daughter dead, everybody needs to stay in the aura because killing the daughter causes an explosion. Actually, I think after the Hymn of Weaving is over, it causes... No, it's the other... I'm sorry, the other daughter is attempting to wipe the party, so... Or wait. Okay. Regardless, there's an explosion that occurs. If you're outside the aura, you die. We'll just leave it at that. So everybody just kill ads, stay in the spot until another person is chosen to... Yeah, another runner is chosen. Probably should save the tower for the boss, but it is what it is. And now we jump to the top platform where the one daughter used to be to DPS the other one. Which looks like it is... Oh, we have no problem doing it. There you go. It looks like we're like short for time, but like I said, if everyone's using Touch of Malice, it goes fairly quickly. And that's the end of Daughters. And then at this point, I switch back to Steel Medulla, and I break out the Sleeper Singlet. Get our rewards, and it's on to the final fight of the raid, and that is Oryx. Now, Oryx acts pretty similar to Daughters, which this is the actual run right here. When Oryx spawns, he'll move to one of the 4 platforms and he'll slam his fists. When he slams his fist, that creates the relic. So this time you actually have a dedicated runner, so it's not random anymore. So pick out your runner, you have your 3 people for the plates, and then 2 people dealing with ads. So wherever platform he goes to, that will spawn the relic. Have the relic runner jump up first to pick up the relic, and then everybody jump on their platforms as normal. So plate 1, then the plate 2, and then the plate 3. Now, for each plate that you jump on, a light eater ogre, so basically an ultra level ogre, will spawn, and then so that will be a total of 4 in the order that you jump on the plates. So it's up to the people on the plates and the people in the center to take those ogres down as quickly as possible. Alright, here we are actually building, we're actually creating orbs for the entire team so people can constantly have their supers and stuff like that. So with the person on the plate and the help of the people in the center, you take down each ogre, so there's a total of 4. When you kill the ogre, he leaves like a black orb or a bomb. It's basically a bomb. And eventually you're supposed to detonate it, but we'll talk about that momentarily. But once you kill your ogre, a sword knight is going to spawn on the opposite side of the, well, room. So where I'm facing now, there's the knight. You want to kill that knight because he is going to go and try to detonate that bomb. Oh, bad shot. And if a bomb goes off anytime before you have the buff that makes you invincible, everybody's gonna die. So now the only tricky part with the knights is that since there's no one on the 4th platform, you got to make sure that knight is taken care of, or else you're gonna lose that orb and everybody has a possible chance of dying. Now to try to catch up with the video real quick, the relic runner will call it out when he has it. There's a vessel of Oryx, which you probably saw. It's another knight that spawned. The runner has to dunk it on the vessel, which will give him the buff that we have currently that makes us invincible, and then we just take down the vessel knight because the vessel knight will also try to detonate the orb. So you got like 5 knights that are trying to detonate those bombs. So with the challenge mode, it actually deals with those bombs. So the only thing that damages Oryx is those bombs. So the challenge is that you need to one-shot Oryx, which takes 16 bombs. So basically you want to run this 4 times, and then the 4th time is when you want to detonate the bomb. So, which I am totally skipping some stuff. Back when you had the Relic Hunter killing the vessel, Oryx will slam and then try to wipe everyone. That's when you actually try to DPS the black orb in his chest to keep him from doing that. So now, since we're doing the challenge mode strategy, we have to deal with the Echo of Oryx in between phases. If you're doing like the normal way where you just detonate orbs on each phase, the first half of Oryx health, you get chased by this like Taken Blight, this light. There's like a light that follows all 6 fire team members. So basically, if you stand in the light, you take damage. So you need to run. Like the best strategy is to run around the platforms for 4 people, and then the other 2 just stay on like the opposite ends and just run around in circles and stuff like that. So, all right. So now we're back to the second phase, and I can explain this a little bit easier. So here we go. That is plate 1. The Relic Runner jumps on there, and then plate number 1. Then I am 2, and then the 3rd person should be jumping on his plate. And then there's my Light Ogre. That's the 2nd one. This is where Super Simulant really comes into play because that thing melts ogres like super fast. Like between your Sleeper Simulant and then the 2 people who are doing ads in the center. Now at this point, there's the 4th knight, so you gotta make sure you kill that, and there is the vessel, which is almost dead. So I've noticed that runners of the relic start just having a sword with them so they can just kill that knight super fast. Now here's Orcs trying to kill us, so we all just shoot his chest and that will stagger him. Now normally at this point we would kill adds and then detonate our orbs, which you have to time that perfectly because like I said, if an orb goes off and you're outside that orb, you die, so everybody has to detonate their orbs at the same time. But since we're doing the 16 orb strategy, we just kill adds and then we save the thrall for a tether so we can create orbs. Now, I know some people don't like this fight because there really isn't anything you can do to make this encounter any shorter. So you always have to do 4 phases for the challenge mode. Like, there's no way to increase damage on orcs, so... I mean, the only thing you can really control is how fast you take down the Echo. So here we are. Oh. Is this where it was? Yep. I thought this was later, but as you can see, I was supposed to be teleported into the room with the Echo, and I just died. For no reason. So, unfortunately, I am no longer playing the rest of this fight. I thought it was a little bit later, but I guess they had to do 3 phases. So, I basically got carried. So, the people who get teleported in, their job is to take on the Echo and kill it as quickly as possible. The people on the outside need to make sure none of these thrall go into that black orb, because if they go in, that means they are now in the encounter with the Echo. And your health does not regen in there, so you really have to make sure all those thrall are dead. But they took down they took down the Echo, and on to the 3rd phase. Oh man. Which is also funny because a similar thing happened with my Titan. I didn't have a cheap death like that where I just randomly died, but I did spawn in and just get like hit with the sword by the Echo and died immediately, so it was a fun week for me. I think I also had bad luck with the aura on the War Priest where like all the acolytes that I was supposed to shoot just hide behind like a column and would not come out, so I'm like, well, I'm dead. So here we got the Relic Runner. He drops down and slams it on the vessel. And then he quickly kills it and then heads to the center so we can protect everybody from damage. It's like a fucking spectator mode in like a Crucible game. So here we stagger them. They almost, they almost didn't. They clear out the adds, and then once again we leave the thrall so we can create orbs for all the other players. God, I had bad luck that week. That was shit. I mean, personally, I didn't have to do anything for the rest of the encounters, so it wasn't that bad, but it was still bullshit that I just get teleported and instantly killed for no reason. Let me get a drink while they're putting in that work. I'll just drink this water. All right, so 3rd phase of the Echo. I think it was back to me. So people being randomly teleported in. The other people deal with the adds outside. They keep them from going into that black orb. This is where I don't think I talked about my loadout real quick. I did switch back to the Steel Medulla, I believe, and then Ex Machina and Sleeper Simulant, because Sleeper Simulant is fantastic for the ogres and the Echo. Ex Machina is also, it's high impact sniper rifle, so it's great for the Echo, and it's also good for ogres too. So both those weapons are good for ogres. So here we are, the 4th and final phase. So this is where we will be detonating the orbs. Now detonating the orbs is basically set up pretty much the same way as the plates. So plates 1, 2, and 3, they are responsible for the orbs by their platform, and then you just pick someone else for the 4th set. And this also shows that killing the ogres right where they spawn is crucial, so you can basically stand in one spot to detonate all 4 orbs in each corner. And there's the Night Down. They got the aura. So now they're getting ready to stun Oryx. There you go. Now, before you detonate the orbs, you do want to clear out some of the ads so nobody's dying while they're running out there. And then at this point, people run to... They don't step on their orb yet. It's better to get close, and then someone counts it down. And then once the countdown's over, you detonate your orb. Once you see your name on the left side there, you hurry the fuck back to the center so you don't die. While those people are detonating orbs, the person in the center, which is the guy with the aura, normally if it's all 6 people, there's another person there. You want to keep shooting that chest because you want that chest to stay open for those orbs, for those bombs to explode and do damage. And in true horror movie fashion, Oryx comes back for one last attack, but just shoot this chest again, and he's dead. And that is King's Fall. Minus me. Was not there. So I got my Anguish of Dristan. I got my Calcified Fragment because I never did the challenge mode with my Hunter. And of course I got my Ornament. And I think I got a regular Doom of Kelkis. And I got my class item, but no helmet. So hopefully next time King's Fall comes around, I can get my helmet. So that's it for King's Fall. It's an awesome raid, especially after Crota and not having anything like the Vault of Glass for a year. I wish it was shortened, but is what it is. Had a lot of fun running it. It is definitely the most technical of the 4 and the longest of the 4. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Wrath Machine is the only one left, and then I think at that point I'm just going to do just raw video of the raids from there on until I get all my raid sets. So thank you again. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy all our Destiny videos, and I will catch you next time.